When we reach 60, people expect us to quiet down, to shrink, to hand over pieces of ourselves in exchange for approval, peace, or belonging. But the truth is, 60 is not an ending. It's a beginning with its own fierce kind of wisdom. And there are certain things you should never surrender, not for anyone, not even for the people you love most. Because giving these things away means losing the essence of who you are. When we reach the age of 60, the world begins to whisper subtle messages that it is time to grow quieter, to retreat, to pass the torch, and allow others to take the lead. Those whispers can become loud enough to drown out the voice you have spent decades shaping. Yet this voice, your voice, is not just sound or opinion. It is the vessel of your story, the record of your struggles, your triumphs, and the depth of your lived experience. To give up your voice at this point is to give up the truth of who you are. That voice holds the lessons your children, grandchildren, friends, and community may never learn from a book. It carries your laughter, your pain, your resilience, and the courage that carried you through storms no one else has walked through exactly as you have. At 60, your voice becomes even more essential because it connects past generations to future ones, creating a bridge of memory and meaning. Your story is not just about what happened to you. It is about what you made of it. When you were knocked down, did you rise? When you were betrayed, did you learn forgiveness or discover strength you didn't know you had? When you celebrated victories, did you share the joy with others? These pieces of your journey are not disposable, and they cannot be rewritten by anyone else. Too often, families expect elders to stay silent, to avoid uncomfortable truths, to bend their words in order to maintain peace. But silencing yourself for the sake of others erases the very wisdom they need most. Your truth, spoken in love, is not a weapon. It is a gift. At 60 and beyond, your voice is also a safeguard against invisibility. Society often diminishes older people, treating them as though they no longer matter, as though they should fade quietly into the background. But speaking your story disrupts that narrative. It insists that you are here, alive, present, and still. Unfolding. It tells the world, my presence matters, my experience matters, my words matter. And even when your words are not welcomed by everyone, they are necessary for you because they affirm your own value. Your voice also carries healing power. Many people who come after you will face the same battles you once fought: grief, loss, failure, betrayal, or illness. When you tell your story honestly, without sugarcoating or shame, you hand them a lantern to carry through their own darkness. You remind them they are not alone, that survival is possible, that resilience can be learned. Imagine the grandchild who feels like giving up, but recalls the story of how you kept going despite impossible odds. Your voice may be the thing that pulls them through. To keep your voice alive also means refusing to let others write your story for you. Sometimes families attempt to reshape the past, to tell a version that makes them comfortable, erasing the parts that reveal pain or imperfection. But the truth does not belong to them. It belongs to you. Your memories, your perception, your meaning are your own. Sharing them openly protects your legacy from distortion. And even if others disagree, your story deserves space to breathe. Of course, keeping your voice doesn't always mean speaking loudly. Sometimes it means writing down your memories, preserving journals, recording letters, or simply telling your story to one trusted listener. It is about expression, not volume. It is about daring to place your words into the world rather than locking them away in silence. The world does not need perfection. It needs authenticity. There will be people, even family, who wish you would stay silent because your voice makes them uncomfortable. They may accuse you of dwelling on the past, of being too opinionated, of refusing to let things go. But refusing to give up your voice is not about clinging to bitterness. It is about honoring the truth. Silence may seem easier, but it comes at the cost of erasing yourself. And at 60, you have spent too long building a life to simply erase it because others demand comfort. Your voice also matters for you. Speaking your truth strengthens your spirit, reinforces your sense of self, and prevents regret. One of the greatest pains people carry in later years is not the mistakes they made, but the words they left unsaid, the love not expressed, the boundaries not spoken, the stories withheld. When you keep your voice alive, you protect yourself from the ache of silence. Holding on to your story is also an act of defiance against fear. Fear tells us that our words won't matter, that no one will listen, at it's too late to speak. But courage says, speak anyway, share anyway, write anyway. At 60, courage looks like refusing to shrink, refusing to let your history be buried under politeness, and refusing to pretend you have nothing to say. You do, and it matters. So do not hand over your voice to anyone, not for peace, not for comfort, not even for love. Your story is the map of your existence, and your voice is the compass that points others toward the truth of it. Giving it up would mean losing not only your place in the world, but also the chance to leave behind the wisdom only you can offer. Boundaries and self-respect are not luxuries, they are necessities, especially when you reach the age of 60. By now, you have spent decades navigating relationships, responsibilities, and the expectations of others. You have likely learned the hard way that when you let people push past your limits, they do not stop until you are drained. At 60, your time, energy, and peace are too valuable to hand away. Boundaries are not selfish walls that keep people out. They are clear lines that show others where you end and where they begin. They are the healthy space that protects your dignity, your energy, and your worth. To give up those boundaries, even for family, means sacrificing the foundation of your self-respect. Many people, especially within families, will assume that because you love them, you should give endlessly. They may ask you to do more than you can handle, to ignore your own needs, or to place their comfort above your well-being. They may call it loyalty, duty, or love, but in truth, it becomes exploitation when it disregards your humanity. Saying no does not mean you love less. It means you love yourself enough to protect your wholeness. It means you understand that respect for others cannot come at the cost of disrespect for yourself. Self-respect is the anchor that keeps you from drifting into resentment and exhaustion. Without it, every yes becomes heavy, every favor feels like a burden, and every interaction begins to chip away at your sense of worth. Self-respect demands that you treat yourself as someone valuable, someone whose needs matter as much as anyone else's. And when you model this kind of respect, you teach others how to treat you. If you accept constant disregard, people learn that it is allowed. If you stand firm, they learn that love and respect are inseparable. At 60, the stakes are different. Your energy is not limitless, and your time cannot be regained once it is lost. That makes your boundaries more precious than ever. You may have tolerated things in your younger years that you no longer can or should. Perhaps you used to endure dismissive comments, unbalanced relationships, or unreasonable expectations. But now every moment you allow disrespect is a moment stolen from your peace. Boundaries ensure that your later years are not lived in resentment but in dignity. The challenge, of course, is that setting boundaries often provokes discomfort in others. People who benefited from your silence or compliance may accuse you of being selfish, cold, or ungrateful. Family may say you have changed, that you are no longer as giving as you once were. And the truth is, they are right. You have changed. You have grown into someone who values peace over people-pleasing, authenticity over approval. This growth is not something to apologize for. It is something to honor. Self-respect also means refusing to stay in spaces where you are consistently belittled or devalued. It means walking away from conversations that cross the line, from relationships that only take and never give, from patterns that rob you of joy. Respecting yourself may require hard choices, but those choices guard your well-being. You do not have to explain or justify them to anyone. The act of choosing yourself is reason enough. Boundaries also create clarity. When you are clear about what you will and will not accept, your relationships become healthier. The people who truly love you will adapt. They will learn to meet you where you are, and they will respect the space you require. The ones who cannot respect it reveal that their love was conditional on your compliance. Either way, boundaries expose truth, and truth is a gift, even when it is painful. Holding on to your self-respect also protects you from the subtle erosion of identity that can happen in families and communities. Sometimes people assume that because you are older, you should stay quiet, go along, or hand over your decision-making power. But you are not a background character in someone else's story. You are the main character in your own. Respecting yourself means insisting that your voice, your choices, and your presence are honored. It means rejecting any suggestion that your value decreases with age. Another layer of self-respect is how you treat yourself privately. It is not only about how others treat you, but about how you speak to yourself, how you honor your needs, and how you nurture your body and mind. At 60, self-respect means resting when you are tired without guilt. It means pursuing joy without apology. It means forgiving yourself for past mistakes instead of carrying shame into the future. The relationship you have with yourself is the foundation upon which every other relationship is built. If you do not respect yourself, no boundary you set will hold. There will be moments when respecting yourself feels lonely, when drawing boundaries costs you connections. But it is better to walk in peace alone than to remain in spaces where your worth is denied. Over time, you will find that boundaries not only protect you, they also attract the right kind of people into your life, the ones who value your time, your presence, and your dignity. These are the relationships that bring richness to your later years, relationships rooted in mutual respect rather than imbalance. So when faced with the temptation to lower your standards, to abandon your boundaries, or to sacrifice your dignity in order to keep others comfortable, remember that these are not negotiable pieces of yourself. They are the essence of your freedom. Without them, love becomes exploitation, giving becomes depletion, and family becomes obligation rather than connection. Self-respect and boundaries are not things you can afford to hand away, not now, not ever, not for anyone. At 60, the world often tells you to slow down, to accept limitations, to step aside as though your best years are behind you. But the truth is, your health, your joy, and your dreams are not luxuries you outgrow with age. They are the lifelines that keep you vibrant and alive. To give them up for anyone, even family, is to surrender the very fuel that sustains you. Your health is the foundation of everything else. Without it, you cannot show up for yourself or for others in the way you wish to. It is not selfish to put your well-being first. It is necessary. Too often, older people are expected to sacrifice their rest, their medical needs, their exercise, or their routines to accommodate others. Perhaps family asks you to stay up late when your body needs rest, to travel when you need stability, to give up your daily walks or therapy sessions because they seem unimportant compared to their demands. But your health cannot be postponed or negotiated. Every choice you make to protect your body and mind is an act of love for yourself and for the years you still have to live. Protecting your health also means caring for your mental and emotional space. It means guarding against unnecessary stress, refusing to carry everyone else's burdens at the expense of your own peace, and recognizing that your inner calm matters. People may expect you to solve problems, to mediate conflicts, or to carry responsibilities that weigh you down, but your health demands that you set limits. Caring for yourself is not an indulgence. It is a duty to the life you have been given. Alongside health, joy is something you must never give up. Joy is not frivolous or secondary. It is the spark that keeps you resilient. At 60, joy might come in the form of small rituals: morning coffee on the porch, tending to a garden, playing music, or laughing with friends. These moments of joy are not actions. They are medicine for the soul. Yet many times others may dismiss your sources of joy as unimportant, childish, or a waste of time. They may expect you to prioritize their needs over your own happiness, as though your role is only to serve and sacrifice. But without joy, life becomes survival instead of living. Protecting your joy means refusing to let anyone shame you for pursuing what makes your heart feel alive. Joy is also a rebellion against the heaviness of life. It is a declaration that no matter what losses or hardships you have endured, there is still light worth seeking. People may tell you to be more serious, to act your age, to let go of pursuits that seem trivial, but joy is not bound by age. If anything, at 60, you understand better than ever how precious joy truly is. You know how fleeting time can be, how easily laughter can be stolen by hardship, and how necessary it is to treasure moments of delight. Holding on to joy is not only for you, but also for those around you, because your joy creates ripples that remind others of hope. And then there are your dreams. One of the most dangerous lies society tells is that dreams have an expiration date, that after a certain age, you should stop wanting more, stop reaching for new horizons, horizons, stop imagining possibilities. But dreams are what keep you moving forward. They do not disappear with age. They evolve. At 60, your dreams may not look like they did when you were 20, but they are no less real or important. Maybe you dream of traveling to a place you have always longed to see, of writing the book that has lived inside you for decades, of starting a business, of learning a craft, of leaving a legacy for those who come after you. To give up those dreams because others think you are too old is to let them steal the fire that keeps you alive. Dreams are also deeply personal. They belong to you, not to your family, not to society, not to anyone else. People may discourage you because they fear change or because your pursuit of dreams might inconvenience them. They may label your dreams impractical or unnecessary, but the truth is, dreams are not measured by practicality. They are measured by how much they keep your spirit alive. At 60, dreaming is not about proving yourself to the world, but about honoring the parts of your soul that still long to grow. When you hold on to health, joy, and dreams, you preserve the essence of what makes life worth living. These three are intertwined in ways others may not see. Protecting your health gives you the strength to pursue your dreams. Pursuing your dreams fills you with joy. Experiencing joy supports your health by reducing stress and nurturing resilience. Together, they create a cycle that sustains you, even when the world says it is time to let go. Do not let anyone convince you that prioritizing your well-being, your happiness, or your aspirations is selfish. They may call it unnecessary, but deep you know that life without health, joy, and dreams is life half-lived. You did not reach 60 to merely exist. You reached 60 to live with the wisdom of experience and the fire of possibility still alive inside you. That fire must never be handed over to anyone else's expectations, not even to the people you love most. These are the things that keep you whole, the things that remind you that you are still becoming, still unfolding, still worthy of a life that is full, vibrant, and deeply your own. Reaching 60 brings with it a clarity that can only come from decades of living, from countless lessons etched into the fabric of your experience. One of the most important truths to hold on to is that your independence, your faith, and your authentic self are not negotiable. They are not things to compromise, trade, or surrender, even for the people you love most. Independence is more than being able to move freely or make decisions. It is the dignity of knowing that you still have ownership over your life. At this stage, independence might look like financial control, the ability to choose how you spend your time, or the freedom to make decisions about your body and your future. People may expect you to give up this independence, sometimes gently, sometimes forcefully, by suggesting that you are no longer capable, that your voice and decisions should matter less, or that your resources should automatically belong to others. But surrendering your independence diminishes not only your freedom, but also your sense of identity. Holding on to independence means insisting that you still have a say, that you still have the right to shape your days according to your values, and that you are not defined solely by what others want from you. Faith is another anchor that must never be abandoned. Faith does not always mean religion, though for many it does. It can also mean faith in love, in resilience, in humanity, or in the possibility of tomorrow being brighter than today. At 60, faith is the quiet strength that has carried you through storms. It is what helped you endure heartbreak, loss, and setbacks when there was no certainty that things would get better. People may try to dismiss your faith, to question it, or to push their own beliefs onto you. They may ask you to compromise it for the sake of harmony or to align with their way of thinking, but your faith belongs to Ao alone. It is the well that nourishes your spirit and gives meaning to your days. Abandoning it for others may earn temporary approval, but it leaves you hollow. Faith, in whatever form it takes for you, is part of your foundation. It reminds you that you are not alone, that your life is more than a collection of days, and that there is purpose even in pain. Protecting it is protecting the strength of your inner world. And then there is the authentic self, the truest, rawest version of who you are when you strip away the masks you have been asked to wear. For much of life, people shape themselves to meet expectations, the expectations of family, of work, of culture, of community. But at 60, you have earned the right to shed those masks, to stand in the fullness of your truth without apology. Being authentic means speaking honestly, living according to your values, and refusing to shrink in order to make others more comfortable. It means embracing your quirks, your passions, your preferences, and your truths, even when others do not understand or approve. Too often, family expects elders to fit into roles that suit their needs, to be the quiet caregiver, the uncomplaining supporter, the keeper of traditions who asks for nothing in return. But authenticity requires courage to break free from those roles and live in alignment with who you really are. Your independence, faith, and authentic self are intertwined. Independence allows you to live in a way that honors your truth. Faith sustains you when others resist your choices. Authenticity gives you the courage to hold on to your independence and trust in your faith. When you guard these three, you ensure that your later years are not just about survival, but about freedom, meaning, and wholeness. Letting go of any one of them means losing the compass that guides your life. Independence also protects your dignity. It allows you to contribute to relationships as an equal rather than being treated as a burden. It gives you the ability to say yes out of choice, not obligation, and no out of conviction, not fear. It reminds others that you are still capable, still responsible, still present. And even when independence looks different than it did in earlier years, maybe you move slower, maybe you need support in some areas, it does not mean your voice or your choices matter less. Holding on to independence is about asserting that you still belong fully in your own life. Faith, too, plays a role in how you weather the doubts of others. People may project their fears onto you, telling you that aging is decline, that the best is behind you, that you should prepare to fade quietly. But faith says otherwise. Faith tells you that every day is still a gift, that transformation can happen at any age, and that your story is not finished until your last breath. Faith is what allows you to walk into uncertainty with courage, to embrace joy even after heartbreak, and to keep moving forward even when the road seems narrow. Authenticity demands that you stop hiding parts of yourself for the comfort of others. By 60, you have already spent enough time doing what was expected, keeping peace at the expense of your truth, and holding back in order to avoid judgment. To continue that pattern is to silence the person you were always meant to be. Authenticity means you do not apologize for your opinions, your emotions, or your choices. It means you live boldly in the reality of who you are, even if that makes others uncomfortable. Those who love you will adjust. Those who cannot accept it reveal that their love was conditional on your compliance. Protecting your independence, faith, and authentic self is not about rejecting family or closing yourself off. It is about ensuring that the connections you do have are real, rooted in respect, and based on who you truly are. When you refuse to give these things up, you set an example for the generations that follow, teaching them that life is not about pleasing others, but about living with dignity, strength, and honesty. You show them that it is possible to grow older without growing smaller, to continue evolving without surrendering the core of who you are. These are the treasures that no one else has the right to claim. When you reach 60, the world may try to tell you that you should give more, bend more, or silence more, but the truth is the opposite. This season of life is not about erasing yourself. It is about protecting the essence of who you are. Your voice, your boundaries, your health, your joy, your dreams, your independence, your faith, and your authentic self are not optional. They are vital. They are the proof that you are still alive, still growing, still becoming. To give them up for anyone, even those you love most, is to hand away the very treasures that make you whole. At 60 and beyond, your task is not to diminish yourself, but to live fully, unapologetically, and truthfully. Because your presence matters, your story matters, and your life still has chapters waiting to be written,